Okay, so I don't know how long this video is going to be. I'm probably going to get interrupted, possibly by a member of the family or by a cleaner. Not sure. But anyway, yeah, this is me in Cassino. So Monte Cassino is just over there. But we're going to go to Valvori in a little while. We're going to have some breakfast and then we're going to go to Valvori. Valvori's where my wife's family grew up, and you know, there's a history of this small village being built up by 4 families. And the Macho family, which is where my wife's father comes from, that's Valvori, and that's very near here. So we're going to take a taxi up. It's a big mountain, so we did a lot of walking yesterday in Rome. But it was great going to the Colosseum. So I was going to talk about the Colosseum for a bit, but I'll do that in a minute. But just wanted to kind of say that we're in Cassino now. We'll be going to Valvori, and then tomorrow we're going to visit some family in Vallerotonda, which is the other side of Monte Cassino, and that'd be really lovely, seeing Ali's cousins and her auntie Olga. But yeah, we just spent €100 in the supermarket, so we just bought lots of biscuits and crisps and things like rolls, bread rolls, and lots of drink. And so we're all set up in the hotel. We're going to here for a few days, so you know, we can sort of pick at that while we're here, which is good. And I bought red wine, so I don't normally drink wine at home, so it's a little treat. I do like red wine, so that'd be nice. Very Italian. And then we do spend the last day in Rome as well, so I'm not sure what we're going to do there, because we had a good sense of Rome yesterday, but there's obviously tons you can do. We could spend the whole week there, but this was a family trip, so it was really about going to see my wife's family, and Rome was just like a bonus. So you could spend a whole week in Rome, obviously. So on the first day when we were in Rome, we decided we'd go to the Colosseum, and you can see how spectacular the Colosseum looks from a distance. It really has got a huge presence in Rome. It's a very important part of the history of Rome. It's an amphitheatre that was constructed between 70 and 72 AD, and it hosted like 100 days of games a year, and it's huge. It's like 620 to 513 feet in size, and it could seat 50,000 spectators. So all these different games happened there. It was a really important part of the culture of Rome. And it's not too dear to go in and have a look at it, which is pretty cool. So me and my wife went in and had a look, and my mother-in-law. And it was really cool, because what they've done is they've turned it into a museum. So you've got the main Colosseum there, which is, you know, you can walk around. And then you've got the inside and the higher parts of it, as you go up these stairs, and then it turns into a museum. You've got all these really cool artifacts and statues and structural parts of the Colosseum you can see in detail. That's really, really good. So definitely recommend that you go to the Colosseum if you go to Rome. So that was really, really nice. And then we obviously carried on, like, we had a look at the Forum as well, and we carried on shopping. So let's talk about books for a minute. So I brought If It Bleeds, and I wanted to finish reading the story If It Bleeds. I'm reading this for the All About Holly event, and I did finish it. It was really good, actually. It did, for me, it didn't start as well as the other Holly stories, but it was really good by the end of it, definitely. It was only a very small period of setup, really. It was really good. So that's the big bulk of this book. It's a 200-page novella, short novel, you could call it, really, because there are some novels that are 200 pages. So anyway, yeah, really good. I'm going to try and read the rest of the book before we talk about the next stage of the All About Holly thing on a Zoom, like a live stream. So anyway, yeah, and I've read that, so that was good. So I brought that with me to make sure I could read it. But I knew it wouldn't take the whole of the holiday to read that. So I brought a few options. I've basically brought 4 options. One that's kind of crazy. But anyway, this one is one I've been dying to read for a while. So this, again, I've been talking about Hiromi Kawakami a fair bit on the channel recently. And this is the 10 Loves of Mr. Nishino, which is the last one out of the ones I own that I haven't read yet. So this will probably be my 5th book I've read by her, I think. So I really look forward to reading this one. So most famous for Strange Weather in Tokyo, if you've read that. But yeah, I'll read 10 Loves of Mr. Nishino. I'd like to read Fuzzy Sapiens. So I brought this with me in case I either read that one really quickly or just fancy reading this instead. So Fuzzy Sapiens, I have to bring a choice. I have to bring a bunch of books when I go on holiday because I want to be able to choose what I read. And I always surprise myself. So Fuzzy Sapiens is another option. I am going to be reading the rest of the Terminal Beach this month. So I thought, these are short stories, so I could dip into this anyway. So that could be a thing, depending on how much reading I get. But I think last night I was exhausted from all the walking around Rome. But tonight I'll probably do a fair bit of reading. So we'll see. But yeah, the Terminal Beach is another option for me by J.G. Ballard. And then a really crazy option, but I want it to be amongst the next banned books that I want to talk about for the Communist Manifesto. So this is my old battered copy. It's really knackered, but it's pretty awesome, and it's quite funny actually. This version has got this is by Progress Publishers in Moscow. It's got 7 prefaces. 7 prefaces. That's crazy. So it'd be like, oh, and another thing, and another thing, and another thing. But yeah, this was quite obviously really, really influential, really important piece of work. But it's an interesting one to do for the banned books, I think, because a lot of people are choosing, quite rightly, they're choosing some contemporary stuff that's covering the LGBTQ community, which is absolutely right, and I'll be doing some of that soon. But yeah, this is just one I'd like to revisit anyway, and what I'd like to do is do a video on my relationship with Marx, I suppose. So yeah, that's that. And then one last thing, which is about a book I bought in Italy. So we went to Rome yesterday, or we landed in Rome. We're now in Cassino, and this is like a central point for us visiting different relatives, because my wife's half Italian. So we're here as a family thing. So anyway, we're in Rome, and we went to the Colosseum, and I wanted to buy something in the Colosseum, and I bought this book here, The Crimes of Ancient Rome, by Jerry Toner. And I'll just read you what it says on the back. Rome is an empire with a bad reputation, from brutal games to depraved emperors, violent mobs to ruthless wars. Its name resounds down the centuries like a scream in an alley. But was it as bad as all that? Join historian Jerry Toner on an investigation to discover the true extent of Rome's crimes. From the peccadillos of Tiberius and Nero to the unfortunate boy emperor assassinated by his grandmother. Find out which problems most exercised Rome's long-suffering citizens and see what desperation can make a poor pleb do. This is a story of Rome as you've never heard it before, though you might have had your suspicions. So Jerry Toner is a university lecturer. He lectures at Cambridge University, so not just any university. So yeah, looks interesting, and out of the selection that I saw there, this was the one that grabbed me. I've already got SPQR, which was there in spades. So yeah, they had an English language section, and they had the Italian section as well of books. There's a big bookshop actually in Rome that I'm probably going to end up looking in, because it's above a toy shop, and they wanted to go in a toy shop, so I might end up looking through that, which would be cool. So yeah, I didn't find any books on gladiators in the Colosseum, but I did find that. Yesterday was a very special day. It was a very emotional day. The reason why we did this trip in the first place was a family based trip. So as I said earlier, my wife's half Italian and she's got family here, and she knew she wanted to go up to the Valvori and visit her dad's and Nan's graves in the cemetery. The Italian cemetery is a really sort of lovely thing. It's, I don't know if you know much about Italian cemeteries, but it's small buildings where different families are kept, and that's where they are. And that was a really important part of the trip, and we reconnected with a few of her cousins and her uncle, and we saw a lot of family members, and it was just really lovely. And because our kids' partners were with us, they hadn't met these people, and the kids met them ages ago. I haven't been here for 23 years, so I've been with my wife for a long time. So this is my third trip to Italy, the third time to connect to the family, but the gap has been quite a long one. So I was a lot younger. My daughter was dinky, and my son hadn't been born when the last time I was here. So yeah, it was quite emotional seeing some of those guys again, and that was really cool. And today we're going to see Auntie Olga, who's the one that we saw a lot last time I was here. So I really look forward to seeing her, and she's making a massive meal for loads of people. Her cooking's amazing. So yeah, it's going to be a big Italian get together. But yeah, it was a really important and lovely day, and it's just as you can see from the photos, it's a really beautiful village at the top of a mountain. And yeah, this trip, it was all about yesterday really. So we've got more of that today, and then tomorrow we're back in Rome for the last little bit. And we went to the museum. So my daughter had already been to the museum and said, "Oh, you got to go because it's great," and it really was huge. There's kind of lots and lots of buildings. They're all connected. You can go underground from one building to another, and it's really, really good. We kind of travelled around Rome a fair bit. I mean, we did see, I think we got a good sense of some of the other things, like the Trevi Fountain. We saw that, and the Spanish Steps as well. So as you can see, we saw those things, and just the whole atmosphere is fantastic. It really is. It's just a beautiful, beautiful city. Yeah, and just to clarify where we are, so Valvori is at the top of a mountain that is kind of opposite Monte Cassino. You might know Monte Cassino, and we're in Cassino, which is obviously connected to Monte Cassino because Monte Cassino is like, it's mountain. So we're in Cassino, but we're about to go to Vallerotonda. We're about to go to Vallerotonda, where we're going to see Olga, as I said. But it was a 2-hour train journey from Rome when we got here, when we got to Italy. So that's kind of where it is. It's further south. Yeah, so Vallerotonda is where we're going today, and yesterday we went from Cassino, where we're based, to Valvori. Not about the moment, it's about what happens next. Cryptic consequences keep us all in check. Think you know the layout, but you haven't done seen it all. Pride can be dangerous. You can come before a fall. You've got to stop. Yeah, so I thought it would be interesting to share a family story that I think is an amazing story. And this is about my wife's dad and granddad. So we're in Cassino, and just over there is Monte Cassino. Monte Cassino is famous for the fact that there was an important battle that happened here in World War II, and the whole place was decimated, and then the monastery had to be rebuilt and all that sort of stuff. So some people know Monte Cassino because of that, and there's this amazing story about the fact that when Monte Cassino was being bombed, my wife's granddad he was carrying my wife's dad in his arm, running away from the bombs, and a bomb landed and blew off his other arm. And it's just this insane idea that, I mean, it didn't kill him, but he lost his arm. And if he just randomly chose to hold my wife's dad in his other arm as a baby, he was a baby. So if he'd carried my wife's dad in his other arm, then clearly he would have died. He'd have been, my wife and her brothers wouldn't have lived, blah, blah, blah. Amazing story, just this random decision he made to carry his son in the arm that wasn't blown off. Crazy. So, last day, and just wanted to finish this video with a couple of points. So, it's been completely family orientated. The whole point of the trip was to visit family, and it's a family that I've been a part of for over 30 years, but we haven't been over here enough, and it's been a beautiful thing to sort of reconnect again and to see some relatives I haven't seen for a long time. And this part of Italy is so lovely, and just something about the crazy prices of travel. So give you one example. Going from Valvori up the top of the mountain to Cassino, where we are now, so coming back to the hotel, it was about a 50-minute journey, so almost an hour. It was over. It was about a 55-minute journey, but almost an hour, and it was €1.50 on a bus. €1.50, and it took ages. And it's just well cheap. So yeah, so that was worth sharing, because it definitely is a cheap way of travelling to come to this part of Italy. So there we are. Today we're going to the museum in Rome. But anyway, thanks for watching. Stay curious, everybody.
See that jingle bell one?
Jingle bell? Can't do jingle bells this time of year.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle! See that one? Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle all the way. All upon the children say, hey! Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle all the way. All upon the children say, hey!
Jingle bells, jingle what?
Jingle all the way. All upon the children say.
She wants to be a Christmas rockabilly chick.
Right.
Yeah.
Jingle bell.
Run away, boys.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle all the way. All up by the sea, riding one, you know the same.
Yes, you can.
Paint me a picture of what it's like to be you. Sit upon your high chair on the outside looking through. I know where you're going. I won't follow you